What's good, everybody? I'm BPC and welcome to Competitive Origins MMA. Well, about 6 months ago, I made a video in which Dana White said Jon Bones Jones would be next in line for the title shot in the heavyweight division. That's right, he would face off against the winner of Stipe Miocic and Francis Ngannou, in which they were fighting for the UFC's heavyweight belt. Well, as we know, Stipe got knocked out by Francis Ngannou in the second round. And basically, Dana White in the post-fight conference basically stated that Jon can call them if he wants the fight, but he wasn't quite sure if Jon really wanted the fight. And basically stated that Derrick Lewis was more deserving of the next championship title fight. Well, I've made numerous videos on this whole situation between Jon Jones and Dana White, going back and forth with each other. Jon basically saying $10 million wasn't enough. Jon's coach stating that he believes Jon needs $50 million to do this fight. And then Dana White coming out and saying Jon had requested $30 million. Now, all these videos are actually on my channel, so be sure to check them out. But don't forget to hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell, and hit the like button on this video, guys. Now, with that being said, the UFC tried to book the new UFC Heavyweight Champion, Francis Ngannou, against Derrick the Black Beast Lewis in June. Now, that obviously was going to be a quick turnaround time, but, Francis looked pretty good after that fight. Didn't look like he took too much damage and looked like he'd be ready to go. Well, Francis had a scheduling conflict, as it appears, and he was not going to be ready for June. So therefore, the UFC tried to rebook this fight for August. Now, Francis was actually interviewed by TMZ as he was walking in the streets, and he said he basically wasn't interested in the Derrick Lewis fight, that he wants to fight Jon Jones, that was the fight that he loves. And that's where we're at, right? Well, today the news came out. Derrick Lewis will be fighting for the belt after all in August. But it turns out that Francis is out, and Ciryl Gane, who just got a victory this past Saturday, is now in the title fight, but it will be for an interim title. It's not going to be for the official title. But with that being said, the winner will be able to face off against Francis Ngannou. It basically almost guarantees it, and it guarantees them a percentage of the pay-per-views, which obviously it makes a much more lucrative fight for them to go into the fight as an interim champion rather than just as a #1 contender. Now, word got out and Francis Ngannou was absolutely shocked, which is understandable. He only won the title, about 3 months ago, and now they're already having an interim title, and then, Francis kind of threw out, I remember my interim title shot with Jairzinho, you know what I mean? I don't know if he was trying to throw shade there or what was going on with that whole situation. It was honestly unnecessary, basically, right? But Dana White came out and he basically disclosed it. He says, Francis is full of it. He knew this was coming, and he says basically his management was incompetent. So us here, we can only assume, right? The assumption is that they tried to get the deal done. Something was holding up the deal, whether Francis wanted more money or Francis was holding out for Jon Jones. And because Jon Jones wasn't interested in fighting for the price that the UFC wanted to pay him, the UFC had to find another situation, another fight to put on for this title fight, and basically force Francis into fighting the winner of, basically, it's going to be Ciryl Gane and the Black Beast, Derrick Lewis, which should be a very interesting fight. The Black Beast, even though he's, against Drago, he was losing that fight, and he still overcame it and got the knockout victory. Now, Ciryl Gane put it on Drago, it was more of a point fighting. It wasn't anything crazy. So you have the heavyweight that's, more of a point fighter, and then you have the heavyweight that's more of a knockout artist, which is, what people kind of look for in these heavyweight fights. They look for the knockout artist. Francis Ngannou, the current heavyweight champion of the world, is a knockout artist, So that's what people want to see. So it'll be interesting to see the outcome of this fight. Like I said, we have the striker, the point fighter versus, bam, the guy with dynamite in his hand. So we'll see who wins that fight, guys. I'll keep you updated on any upcoming news. But that means basically Jon Jones is going to have to sit out for 2 more fights. He's going to have to sit out for this interim title fight, right? Because Francis won't be fighting anybody. And then Francis will have to fight the winner of this. So there you go. That's 2 fights. And Dana said that Stipe deserves another title shot as well. So could Stipe be next in line for the title shot after Francis fights, you know, the winner of Ciryl Gane and the Black Beast, you know? Or is he just going to insert John Jones when John Jones feels like, okay, I'm tired of sitting on the sideline? Nobody knows right now. It's all up in the air, but I guess that's what kind of makes it exciting. But this was definitely a shocker. None of us had any idea that this was going to go down. You know, it's crazy how everything just like that in a second. Well, guys, tune in today, or I should say tune in tomorrow. I have some more content for you guys. Go to competitiveorigins.com. Type in promo code MMA155 so you can get 10% off this Competitive Origins Just an Obstacle t-shirt. Thank you for tuning in today, guys. I'm BPC, and remember, you've been competing since conception, whether you're competing against yourself or others. Competitive Origins.